which gives to them, so we're now making a second one. So we might have a little flight with
Oh, exactly, yeah, that's, yeah, okay.
So, this afternoon is the Light Park Association Park in the Park. Open. Vision becomes grey and eventually you can black out it, but of course these chaps have been practicing aerobatics and will be well used to dealing with that. The program, I believe, is one of synchronized aerobatics by the two singletons and formation aerobatics in line astern as they were a moment ago. So here we are from left hand to right, pulling smoke, pitch special. Synchronized loops that mark on the top. And you'll notice that characteristic noise, that's the propeller tips going supersonic.
It is a lovely sound, I think, incredible. Yes, because the propeller tips, of course, are going so fast that some of the power can't hear, and it's quite a big diameter.
their aircraft is very difficult. Flying in echelon, that's either slightly ahead or slightly behind. The leader's aircraft is less difficult. I wouldn't say it's easier. They're lovely coordinated stall turns there. These chaps are good. Very good. But yes, the first time I ever saw a pit special, I couldn't believe it. This diminutive aeroplane, like an angry bee, flashing around the sky after we've been used to seeing stars and tidal inverted. So we have a mirror formation here, ladies and gentlemen. Notice the angle of attack of the upper aircraft. That is, it's very nose up. It's hard to believe these aircraft harder. It's to actually see where the heck you're going, because with the nose as high as that, and at such a small cockpit, sitting down below, you can see virtually these chaps are consummate professionals. And, but of course, the flight doesn't finish until you've shut down the engine. One of the last very common use of radios in the 1920s.
The world looking for bits of aeroplanes and trying to recognise London's Grand Vessel as the airplane. We used to use this aeroplane to transport itself between home and And you will observe that the wings have a degree of sweepback. This has nothing to do with the reducing the onset, but this represents an aeroplane which would have been flown by the Royal Air Force Central Flying School in the 1930s. This type of aeroplane has been dramatically successful, I think, Chris. It trains thousands of personnel, both civilian and military, in the run-up to World War II. It was a superb training machine in that it wasn't voiceless, it wasn't terribly easy to fly, and yet it wasn't so difficult that it put you off to start with. You really needed to coordinate your feet and your hands in this aeroplane. You had to fly the rudder.
Yes, some people have been known to say that in fact it's rather an unpleasant aeroplane to fly. I'm not qualified to speak. I've only had the privilege of around about 40 minutes flying time in the target market total. And even then I wasn't flying the aeroplane, although I had to control it for a short while.
Elstree once, but that was not one
like yours, caused by the rather ineffective ailerons. And as Nigel was saying earlier, you really do have to use your feet. That's pretty well the full speed. That's a wonderful shot for you photographers. Absolutely wonderful. Coming in on runway 25, which is directly into wind. Holding it off.
is a perfect example of how the wind, just a tiny gust, can get under your wings, get under the tailplane, and just balloon you up again.
Allows for a little bit of taking up any shock if the tow rope goes slack at any point during the tow. Then as the glider drops back, rather than have a hard snap on the hook there on the front of the glider, it gives a little and makes for a softer ride. It is potentially breakable, yes, there is a alternation involved. So, and if the glider has a problem releasing, you can signal to the tug and persuade the tug to release. See, once he releases the glider, he'll just cool the engine for a little while before coming back down towards the ground. On some modern tugs, they now have a means of shutting off the cooling air to the engine so that you don't shock load the engine on the way down, because obviously they want to get down in a hurry to launch the next glider.
Oh, what a glorious sight. As Frank said earlier, the aircraft has been doped so that we can see the internal structure. That is so redolent of my modelling days. It wouldn't have lasted as long as this one. And I think we would have seen some structural failure with my models, but they did look lovely.
So Willie now organising himself for approach around the back of the Hurricane as the Hurricane tacks down. You can see the spoilers on the tops of the wings, just as he comes into the flare, to the light just in front of the tower. What a beautiful sailplane it is.
Great. Lining up now, just rolling on 2-1 is our Hawker Sea Hurricane. As you'll notice, the canopy is open. Pilot's choice as to whether to have the canopy open or closed. I suspect that having the canopy open improves the visibility of the stoppable couriers, the KR FW200 couriers. These large 4-engine aircraft watch how quickly this airplane gets off the ground. There we are. All of 100 metres there of flying.
Sensible, but it's slow flying.
Getting off behind it is another illustrious aircraft. This is an original aircraft built in Germany in around about 1941-42, it is believed, and has the 6-cylinder Argus engine, that's the inline engine. Some of the Fiesler Scorsches were powered by radial engines, and there was, despite the fact that the radial engine developed about twice the power of the Argus, there was no exchange.
It's not quite on a tennis court, but almost that. With its unbelievably short takeoff and landing characteristics.
Coming in for a landing, or is he going to demonstrate? Just see how quickly this airplane, or how short a landing run. There it's down, and by the intersection, it's virtually come to a halt.
Aeroplanes. The next one is going to be at Sywell, Northampton, in early September. You are all invited to come along. You'll see hundreds of...
Thanks again, Nige, for helping me out, and good night to everyone. Safe journey home, and see you next time. Goodbye from us.